Okay. I'm out here. Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow.
Welcome into another edition of NFT Live. What happened last night? I don't think anything happened last night, man. We had a lot of news outside of the Web3 industry, which we normally don't pay attention to. But Will Smith made sure we were paying attention at the Oscars. What is up, fellas? I'm sitting here with some NFT gurus, some NFT community members. I'm excited to have this convo. I will let you introduce yourselves one by one, starting with Ronan and going clockwise.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Ronan. I think, I'm excited about this conversation. Also, I am well aware of the fact that that was 2 days ago, Q, not yesterday. So I don't know where you've been. Probably in NFT land where things go super, super fast. I'm really looking forward to having a conversation with everybody here today and getting into the convo about community, about some swag and whatever we get into.
I think you're up next, Flubber.
Awesome. Yeah, no, nice to meet everyone here, and thanks for having me, guys. I'm one of the community members, Flubber, and this is my first time on the show, and I'm just happy to be a part of this. I'm honored, really. I've been following you guys for a long time, and I look forward to getting into this.
Flubber, is this your first time on camera?
This is the first doxing or IRL Flubber on the internet, so don't go too crazy.
Congrats, man.
My man.
What's up, NFT Live? I'm a DJ Savage. I'm a Discord moderator and DJ host. I hang out in LADZ City all the time. I've been doing LADZ City radio on Fridays for almost a year now.
All right, well, we'll get started here, guys. We're going to touch on a couple different things around the industry. We're going to touch on NFT ERC20 tokens and what we're thinking about the bull market kind of coming back, or if we're in a bull market. We're going to touch on some gutter cat toxicity and how we look at different communities. And then last but not least, Bored Ape has been making the rounds, of course, in the airwaves, and they had a merch drop recently that didn't go too well. But we will start with the gutter cat gang. Shout out to the gang. I am going to put a video real quick, just a highlight of their upcoming gutter clone, and then on the other side of that, we're going to talk a little toxicity.
Gotta keep it gutter. Keep it gutter.
All right, so the story here with the gutter cat gang is NFT Anonymous has sold all his gutter cats. He has said, I am leaving the community. There was a big hubbub around him doing so. He claimed that the gutter cat community is toxic, amongst other things, which we'll show you here in a second. But I'll let Ronan take this one away. What did you make of NFTs Anonymous kind of coming out and saying that he was leaving the community and that gutter cats was essentially toxic?
I think that, like, first of all, I'm not a huge fan of like announcing like when you're gonna do things like this, right? Like, in my opinion, like, you sell your gutter cats and you move on. If we want to look at it from the light of maybe he was trying to shed some light on the fact that they have a toxic community, that's fine, I guess. But yeah, I guess for me the biggest thing was just it's a conversation more so of how big the NFT community is getting and how that affects that like feel good vibe, right? That everybody like kind of like associates with the space or did associate with the space about, I don't know, 8, 6, 10 months ago, whatever. And I think that, like, for me, it's more of a conversation of, we are getting to a point where culture is permeating NFTs, right? And along with that, I think does come things like toxic community members and toxic communities and spaces of the internet and the industry that maybe are not so welcoming, right, to everyone, whether that's based on their race or their sex or whatever, right? Like, I think that there's a lot of these things that we talk a lot about in the Web 2 world that we don't want in the Web 3 space. And I would say that one of these, one of those would probably be like the behavior that kind of overwhelmingly took place over the weekend. So I think my biggest thing was I was really sad about like just kind of like how some of the members of Gutter Cat just said, all right, let's double down on what he's saying. You know what I mean? Like he's having this conversation and then somebody else jumps in and is like, oh yeah, well, I effed your girl. And then somebody else is like, wait, is that real? And then he's like, yeah, well, I guess. And now you're talking about like real world, like jabs. Now you're trying to make somebody feel bad. And look, you don't know who is on the other side of these Twitter accounts, man. And now you're getting into like really talking about things that affect people's mental health. And I'm super huge advocate of like, let's keep like things positive as much as possible. Not that you can't have negativity or disagreements, like, but let's act like adults, right? And I do think that situation over the weekend kind of devolved, and I've seen multiple situations kind of devolve in that way. And I think we need to have a conversation about how we as a community like can act better.
Savage or Flubber, you got any thoughts here?
I mean, there's a.
Go for it, dude.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm not a Gutter Cat holder, but I think the toxicity thing is something you see in a lot of different communities. A lot of different communities fail because of that. I think, especially when it overwhelms the place. But I think it is a difficult thing to address because there are humans and emotions involved here, also with the investment, and some people, are not used to losing money in this space. Other people are, veterans in that aspect, but also on a gamble, right? But I think the communities I've seen that are able to navigate that are the ones that are succeeding. Also in a long term, you can have people that are peeved because of some bad drop, or you see that MetaKey had something. Everyone's always angry in parallels after a drop, but the core community is there because it's a sweet project and the people are really involved. Another one I've really noticed, the community is kind of squelching the negativity and just getting with the positivity is like Averick Saga. It's like a gaming thing, but what I think is key there, and what I also see in the LADZ City community itself, is this tendency to have good moderation that is not only fostering the good culture that I think you're also speaking to, Ronan, but part of making sure that those bad actors are just kind of pushed aside, because you don't want them as part of the community. You don't want them, having a microphone. It's annoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good moderators can change a lot of stuff. So if you have a bunch of FUD in your community, which honestly to me, I've never understood why people jump into a Discord community that they're a part of and start FUDing it. Like that's the one single place in the world all of your fellow investors are. If you're trying to make money on NFTs, which I think most of us are, you should probably go into that community and be friendly. And if you're trying to exit your bags, I mean, you should probably be going there and be extra positive and be extra joyful, because those are the people that are going to buy your NFTs, are your fellow members in that Discord. So if you're just going in there, you're FUDing, you're talking about the floor, you're being negative and like hard to work with, that's bad for the community. And I don't see how that's ever going to like increase the value of the NFT that you're trying to get rid of. So, I mean, kill them with kindness is my strategy. And when someone pops into Discord that's negative with me, I try to just talk to them like a human, like, hey, what's going on? What are you feeling? Because a lot of times it has nothing to do with the project, or maybe they just got rugged on a different project and they're out a bunch of money, or their girlfriend got in a fight with them. I mean, you can just, kind of take it like TED. It's the TED. Tell me about this, explain to me about this, describe to me about this, and you can get, you can understand what a lot of people are feeling. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with the project. People get wrapped up in their own lives, and we live in Discord. So you come inside Discord and you start complaining, and it's not the right place to do it always. Yeah. And like you said, Flubber, the moderators have to know how to handle that and deal with that properly.
Yeah, I wonder what the role is of Gutter Dan, of the main head of the community, right? Does he come in here and kind of like get himself involved, or does he let the community work this out? You know, Louis C. Rhymes had someone on the channel, I think it was Jonathan Mann, about a week and a half ago, and they were talking about how Jonathan's sold out immediately. His NFT drop sold out immediately. Which is awesome. It's great to see that. But he also has to deal with people who maybe care more about the price of his assets, whereas maybe Louis C. Rhymes, that kind of grows over time. His drop doesn't have as many people in the Discord kind of complaining about the price of the asset. Those people are there to, you know, be there, which I think is an interesting piece. I feel like in a lot of these blue chip communities, you probably have some people that maybe bought in at 90 ETH and now it's at 80, and you have these situations occur. So I don't know. I'll throw that out there. Like, what is Gutter Dan's kind of piece here, Ronan?
I think, like, in my opinion, like, good leadership is always needed, right? Like, and if you are constantly coming out and publicly kind of being like, I'm the dude, I'm Gutter Dan, like, I'm the guy who like runs like the Gutter Cat gang, right? Like, I'm the guy who's throwing the parties, I'm the guy who's like in the videos, then you should probably step in and be the guy who leads when like the community's split, right? Like, especially when the community's split down the middle. And I think that, yeah, the responsibility really does fall on leadership. And I really feel like in these cases, we would see a lot more of like leadership step up and kind of have these conversations and say like, you know, look, like, this is getting, like, for me, like, Gutter Dan could have been like, hey, this doesn't need to get personal. Like, we understand, like, you don't feel the vibes of the community. We respect that. You know, please, like, feel free to list your stuff how you feel. And as far as like the community side is concerned, like, he was not happy with that. It's fine. He's not our vibe. He's not our tribe. We can let him move on peacefully. We don't have to get personal, right? Like, it doesn't need to be what it devolved into. And I think that's where it's like, you get this like snowball effect that takes place in these communities. And a lot of it, to the point of chat, right, it's so intertwined in money and making money. And so people like are really tied to that. And, you know, to Savage's point, like, what if dude just lost, you know, bought at the top of some project that's totally tanked and he's down 50 grand and like he's having a really crappy day, right? So all these things affect people and they affect them very deeply. And it's weird because we're in this digital space where you can't see the people that you're talking to, and you can't see the people that you're like, you know, conversing with. And so it's difficult. And I think that we have to navigate it like really like carefully, but I do think like, yeah, you need leadership to step up and kind of lead the way. And it brings a greater question of like, why are these projects being built with this expectation of money and flipping and turning, right? Like, and how can we maybe change the narrative and actually get to like what these things are really supposed to do? And they are supposed to provide access, and they are supposed to provide really cool experiences and really close knit communities. I would say the first thing we should look at, and you guys know probably what I'm gonna say, is like quantity. Like, we need to start looking at like, drop 2,500, you know, drop 1,000, like, start your community off with like the respectful amount of people that can converse with each other in a Discord without it turning into a shit show. And then go from there, right? Maybe you do that for the first 1,000 people in your Discord that actually give a shit and are sticking around for the first 3 months you're talking about it. They get free, right? Like, and now, I don't know, like, we just have to really start playing with this model of like, we don't need to be charging $4,000, $5,000, $8,000, $1,200, right, for one mint. And then secondly, like, how do like we navigate from there to keep this still profitable for everyone who's involved so they continue to build.
Yeah, Flubber and DJ, I want to get your comments here relatively quickly, but we do have comments here in the chat. I did want to give a one more shout out to Flubber, who is our own community member who's come on as our noble stand-in, or whatever you call it. We're kind of running with this new setup, guys, as you can tell. Hopefully you like it. But Flubber has graciously filled in, and he's doing an absolutely phenomenal job. Definitely come back anytime you want, man. I'm going to give a quick shout out to the rest of the community here in chat. Santino has said a couple things. He said, I love these kind of talks. This is an important conversation to have. Jim Willie is saying space was funny at first, but it really got bad after 10 minutes. Marty McFly saying, what if they were keeping it gutter? Does the name influence behavior subconsciously? So a lot of good talk happening here in the YouTube chat. Keep it up, guys. And then Savage or Flubber, guys, follow up here on this last bit of thoughts about Gutter Cat Gang.
Well, Ronan mentioned like letting the Discord build up to like 1,000 people so you have that front line of people that help protect you. I think that's how I like to think about it. So if your project is the quarterback, you let those first 1,000 people in there. That's kind of like your front line. And if like there's a community member that pops up and starts fudding, you know, as a moderator or as the team, a lot of times you don't even have to deal with that if you have the right people in the Discord. So if you have your front line built up and you have people that are passionate about the project, they will a lot of times stomp that out right from the beginning. And the team and the moderators don't even have to deal with that because the community has been built and has been shown where the project is going, what the roadmap is doing. They're drinking the Kool-Aid, they're believing it. They will squash out a lot of FUD themselves, just having a good community. And you see a lot of different Discord projects doing that now where they close the Discord and it's invite only for the first 1,000, 2,000 people. And I think this is what they're trying to get around. They're building that front line to protect the project, to keep away some of these fudders.
Love it, man. All right, guys, we are going to move on with our conversation here. Keep up the chat. I think you guys had a lot of good points that were made there. We're going to transition to, and this isn't on our storyboard. Our storyboard was the next conversation was going to be tokens here that we're looking at and whether we're in a bull run. I do have this video, unfortunately, to show, and then we'll talk about some BAYC merch drop. But guys, this video appeared over the weekend. RIP to, I forgot the guy's name, even Papacito or something like that, because this guy is in for it. But we'll let it play and then come see you on the other side.
What hand does it go on?
Yeah, that's why I was like, shit, did you look in my backpack and see that I had that with me?
Yikes. Listen, before I actually saw the volume on that and saw the audio, I thought it was fake. Listening to them there, it sounds kind of real. So I'm actually really not feeling good for that guy. But what do you guys make of that video? And then we'll get to the Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Well, you want to talk about a weekend that's got some strong controversy? Is it real or is it not real? Did he really smack him? Did he not really smack him? Is she really on OnlyFans? Is she not really on OnlyFans? Yeah, man, I feel bad for that guy if it was real, but I don't know. The internet's a weird place. People do a lot of weird shit for clout.
That looked real. Flubber, what do we think about the that video here? Do we feel bad? Is that a thumbs up, thumbs down? Is it fake? Is it real? What's going on?
I think it sadly is fake, and she seems so just, oh, thanks for the ring. I mean, if that were my wife, I don't think we would have lasted this long. That just doesn't seem like it's gonna last. Sorry.
Dad.
Yeah, Savage, I'll let you chime in here, and then we'll get to the merch real quick. But the funniest tweet I saw was thank God he did it. I'll do it. I think right near that cliff as well. So my future wife has that reaction. I'll just throw myself off. But Savage, what do you make of the video, man? Real or fake?
I think they're both fake, honestly. I mean, if you look at the Chris Rock one, he leans in. I mean, they're both paid professional actors, very good at their craft. I think they're both clout videos. I mean, like the question in chat, would you even know the Oscars happened if Rock didn't get slapped? I'd have no idea.
You're not
Don't
wrong.
follow. Don't do news. Don't do social media. But I have no idea Oscars did anything.
333 is saying to show the second video. There is a second video, and there's some other videos that we're not going to get into on this show because we are PG. But we are going to get to this merch drop here. But Prodigy, before I do that, please drop a poll in the chat. Is it real or is it fake? Let's see what the community has to think, and then we will get to this merch drop. So Ronan, I'm going to pull up on the screen. Let me see if I can get this going. This was the merch drop and I know it's like not as high quality as we'd like. You're getting all of them at once here, but it was Mutant Ape Yacht Club and Bored Ape Yacht Club. They had, all of these things available. There were some limited time only. There was some that were limited quantity. Basically, this was a shit show. I like the actual art itself. I know people were talking about it being like 90s streetwear, which I'm completely fine with. But as far as like how it looks and then the technicalities behind the drop, give us kind of a rundown on your thoughts.
Yeah, I think for me, okay, my biggest thing was like it wasn't very smooth. It wasn't very clear. A lot of people were like, freaking out because they didn't think that they could actually check out with your MetaMask, because being able to check out with your MetaMask, you had to click this little ape button, which was really ridiculous. And then they weren't clear on which items were limited, which items were not limited. They weren't clear on the fact that you could only check out one time, which has been an issue for the past 2 drops or past 3 drops, right? Where they literally, like, all of them, they've come back on day 2 and been like, okay, we're going to give everyone a second checkout. Why you forget to put that in your announcement this time around, I have no idea, right? So there's definitely some growing pains. I obviously, I can understand that you're implementing something new. You are, you're using the Coinbase checkout, and that's like totally new, but it was really, really bumpy. And then they took a little bit too long, in my opinion, to respond. And then as far as like the style, right, of the clothes, I agree that like it should have been more varied. We could, I've got, I don't know about anybody else, but I got a ton of black and white shit in my closet
Yes.
from last year. I wouldn't mind a little color. And especially for like the ape stuff, man. I feel like the ape stuff is a little Tom Hardy. And that's just not my vibe. And I think I saw a lot of people like talking about the fact that like they just wish there were more options, more colors, more stuff that maybe didn't feel like very like into a very specific niche. And then lastly, they didn't have anything for the ladies, man. Like I asked my, like I've got my wife, like she's got a hoodie, but I keep buying her hoodies and she's like, I got enough hoodies. I was like, hey babe, do you want a hoodie? She's like, I don't need another hoodie. She's down to wear the Bored Ape stuff, but she's not down to like wear, those sweatpants, the hats. None of that was for her, right? Like, so we got to remember that there's lady apes that are married in, and then you got women who are part of the community. Like, what are they buying? How do you like tap into them? So I think that they really, if they want to go streetwear brand, which I definitely think they're trying to do with like the way they're handling like the merchandise drops, then they need better representation in the clothing.
Yeah, DP is in the channel saying they could have come up with way better designs than that BS. 333 saying, where are the red tees? And then Jonathan Phillips is saying, sup, Flubber. So let's get your take on this merch drop here, Flubber, and kind of in general how you think community should go about maybe launching merch.
Well, I think the Hexbon, from wrong side actually. the Hexbon I got here. This is from the DBs, the Nifty Castle. Sorry, and those guys are super dope. But I thought that was really easy. I mean, you go in and I just use my MetaMask wallet to connect. And then I was taken into the merch page and could buy the hoodie and the merch. But again, I think you make a really good point there with the women's wear. I think it would be smart to expand to that. I mean, why not? We have a whole half of the world, man. Let's try to get at them. We can only benefit from having a more diverse community, for all these communities. So I think that's a really easy option to go with.
I have a question. How much was the merchandise? Are they making money off this merchandise, or is this all money made goes to the community? Because I'm not down with paying $200 worth of hoodie. Like, that's a $30 hoodie. I'll give you $30 for it.
This is a cool conversation because they did it in ape token. So there's like things that you could maybe make up in your brain where they could like have this and burn some of the tokens, or what do they do now? That they have all this ape. Do they sell the ape onto the community? What are you thinking, Ronan?
No, I think like I think they did actually say something about that. Like I think like it's gonna go like back to like the DAO controlled, like, you know, there's like a percentage that goes like to the DAO controlled treasury and things like that. But to that point, it was in US dollars until you checked out, right? So you still saw that like the hoodies this time were $100, where like the last time they were like 45, right? So they were a little on the expensive side. But I will say that as far as all of the swag and stuff that I've gotten, and I've gotten, you know, stuff from a lot of different projects over the last 12, 14 months, the Bored Ape stuff is definitely the highest quality next to like Super Plastic. Outside of that, I mean, they're all great. Like I don't like, this is even, you know, the hundreds is like really nice, but it's not quite there, right? Like the OG like hoodies and stuff from the apes, I think were really, really good. Now, I also heard that this new, this whole run is a new manufacturer, right? So like this is going to be all new gear. So we'll see how it goes, right? Exactly. So this is going to be fun. The only thing I'm super like a little, you know, not so happy about is the fact that I didn't get a rug. So if anybody's got an extra rug, let your brother know.
Speaking of, and we have one comment here. Jonathan Phillips saying Yuga merch new male birth control. So that was a shot there across the bow. A little bit. This is a pretty cool. Thing from Nizzy NFT. Obviously the rug is S tier and it did go out really quickly. I liked the college. I don't know what you call this, but it's like the college kind of look. So he put a bunch in D tier that I would actually lettering. Yeah, I'm a vain person, man. I want people to know that I am in the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Nothing says that more than Bored Ape across the freaking back. Like some people are wondering like what is the skull, all this stuff. No, Bored Ape. Know it. Read it, live it.
Bruh, so when I get my car, I'm just gonna, the license plate's gonna say Bored.
Yeah, look at us. See, both of us, you know, Savage is done hearing about Bored Ape for like the last month. God.
I will say, okay, last thing on the merch, and then we can move on to the next topic. I do really, really wish that when we logged into the store, some of the items that we were not expecting were trait-specific items. I'm very ready for that moment where like you have a merch ape, you log in, and now, or you've got like a leopard print, right? And now there's a leopard print blanket that's got BAYC, but it's only available if you've got that one, right? But they don't say shit. You just know when you connect your wallet and you get into the store. We need it. Traits need to be important in that way. That's a cool idea.
I like that.
Any thoughts on like how communities, and you touched on it there, right? Like maybe having traits be specific to what you can purchase. Any other thoughts, guys, on like how you think communities should go about their merch drops in the future? Any like other maybe tips that anybody that's listening should be following? Like what are some like last thoughts here on other communities doing merch drops?
I think it should be point.
Go ahead.
I just want to say, I think, you know, there's kind of two options, right? Do you want to attract people that aren't a part of the community to the community via your merch, or do you want to reward those that have the token? So it's like two schools of thought. Or do you want to do some sort of combination where you say, okay, if you have a token, then you can get access to something specialized, kind of like what Ronan's saying. Or if you don't, then you can still get, you know, this, which, you know, that's cool. You can support us. But I'm not quite sure what is the best option. But I think that it's important to try it out. I haven't seen a lot of, you know, that opening up of merchandise, at least for everyone without a token. Or maybe it's kind of like the pre-sale thing. I think that's what, like with the Wanderers, you could get their merchandise afterwards. But I think it's important to reward the people that obviously are supporting and part of the community. But I think there's also that aspect of bringing more people to it.
I think it needs to be a little bit more cost effective. For merchandise, for me, it's a gateway to talk to your in real life friends about what you're doing in your NFTs. And if you're showing them, you know, a $70 hat that's cheaply made, you know, they don't want to buy that. So, I mean, it's free advertising. I think it should be super cheap, you know, nearly at cost, because the community is getting free advertisement from your members wearing this. So I think making money on merchandise is, at least right now, not the move. Not the move. Like, the space is too new. There's not enough people in it. Like, not everyone even knows what a lot of these different brands are. So you spend a ton of money to get a hoodie or something that's not of the greatest quality. I'm going to wash it 10 times. It's going to fall apart. And now I'm upset. It's like, make it cheap, make it high quality, so we can show this stuff off and we can represent the communities that we're proud to be a part of.
Yeah, another funny aspect to this is just kind of piggybacking off you there, Savage, is that Bored Ape dropped the ape token to us, and then we're giving it back to them essentially from all this, which is a funny cycle if you think about it. Like, they get the merch and then we just give them the ape tokens that they drop to us back. So I agree with your sentiment though, like having it be, I think both of you touched on it, having it be more open and affordable maybe to more people. That might be something they look at, maybe not in every single drop, but 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4. So let's see the doggo there, man.
Oh, Mr. Covington? Yeah. He's a good boy.
Hey.
He wants to be on stream. He's smelling my chapstick is what he's doing right now.
Love it, love it. All right, I saw the comment there in chat, Ronan, about Ramses wanting us to play a video. So let me know what that is, and then we will transition to the next topic here. Because I'm a fan of transitions, I'm going to add this little teaser trailer that dropped overnight, or maybe in the last 2 days. I can't keep my days straight, but I want to get you all's quick lightning take after the trailer. All right, big fan of transitions there. What do we think? Lightning question. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, NFTs. What is it?
It's another Naruto. I'm calling it.
So like a one and done, basically?
No, it's not actually a TMNT like official drop. I have not seen. I've gone down the rabbit hole. I've not seen anything to say that it is an actual official TMNT drop. They could have I think they have a official check mark though, right? Like you can go and buy, like somebody offered me one for 4 ETH in my DMs 2 days ago.
Oh.
But you can buy like an account and change the name to an official name. And I don't know if you guys dude, I met the guy who like broke the story on the Naruto NFTs, and like we had a chat, and I didn't even realize what happened with that project. But like for anyone who doesn't know, basically this kid like thought he bought the license to do these Naruto like official NFTs. He hired a team. He started paying all these people. He was like a young college entrepreneur. And somebody started asking questions because they just have happened to like do research on Naruto and the company that owns them and what that like process is like. And something wasn't adding up. And essentially there's this guy out of like Europe or something who runs this scam where he like tricks people into thinking that they're buying legit licenses. And so this kid thinks he's got a real license and he's promoting it. He's doing all this stuff and then it just disappears. Like the product, like, because at the end of the day, he really didn't actually have like a real license. So in my opinion, that's the case with not seeing anything to say anything otherwise. No, well, look.
There it is.
See, this is not
Good
affiliated
call.
with Recur.
Wow.
We got Ronan on top of it.
Interesting.
That's such a shame.
We'll see.
I
Now,
like
just
Teenage
because they're
Mutant
not
Ninja
on
Turtles.
Recur doesn't necessarily mean that they're not legit. I still haven't seen anything to say it's a legitimate project. And after seeing what took place with Naruto, it's like, let's see some like official like documentations from like the company that holds the right, putting out a press release that says they're coming into NFTs. Because let me tell you, I do work with brands and companies like that every day. They're literally putting out press releases when they do NFT drops. So the fact that we haven't seen anything along those lines is really interesting. Because trust me, I'm a huge TMNT fan. I fanboyed hard when we had one of the original writers on the show like a year and a half ago. But like,
Yeah.
so
Well,
I don't know.
There's some comments in chat, and I want to get Flubber and Savage in here as well. There's some comments saying Santino says only Wax has TMNT NFTs. I think people are mentioning that Funko piece as well. So what are your guys' thoughts here on this TMNT drop? Or maybe TMNT?
Go ahead, Flubber.
Let's pretend it's real.
I'd stay away
It's
from it.
Because I think I took everybody's happiness away. Everybody was hype until I opened
Yeah. Damn,
I
got
think there have
reality
been more
check real
NFT.
quick.
Yeah, there's been more NFT trademark requests are submitted in 2022 than all of 2021 so far. Like, let that set in. We're not even 3 months into this year. There's already more NFT project trademarks that have happened in 2022 than 2021. So there's just an assload of projects coming out. And if this one's not official, I probably wouldn't touch it. Just me, though.
No, you can't really responsibly jump into a project like that if it doesn't have the right holders, backing it.
Yeah, how are they going to do merch?
It's a shame though,
like they
because
don't have the IP rights to it.
I love
so
pizza. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't really get away with it anymore. But,
Yeah, and I think like after like seeing like what's been going on in the space lately, like it's just like you have to be very careful with the projects that you're willing to like invest in. And some of these, I mean, we've talked to some really big brands, right? Like I think we talked about it once. We talked to like Warner Brothers at one point last year, and they're going out and they're like working out these relationships with their IP and their trademarks much more carefully than in the past they have with like t-shirts and things like that, right? So like they're not just willy-nilly handing trademark like and abilities to like Joe Schmo t-shirt shops. So for someone to just pop up out of nowhere and be like, hey,
Yo,
and like, dude, the commercial or the little trailer looks sick, right? But like, I mean,
It does.
people
I
can
got to get in here, fellas, because this is like a developing story at this point that we're like breaking on NFT Live as we go. But Digits, one of our community members, put in our LADZ City Discord another tweet that has to do with Recur. In them kind of responding to this. So I'll put it up on the screen right now. It says, regarding TMNT NFT scammers, Recur Forever CEO has confirmed that Paramount Picks will be taking action. TMNT IP is owned by Recur. So we just had a roundabout discussion. This wasn't planned. This is real, folks. This is real. This wasn't planned at all.
Crazy.
I'll bring it back up, but if you guys want to touch on a little bit more of this before we move on to our last topic, it looks like TMNT NFT is
I should have tweeted
dead on
that.
arrival.
Shoot. And I saw it.
Shout out to Digits.
Heck yeah.
That's
nice
not good
find,
news for
dude.
him.
Well, that didn't last very long.
no.
He tried, but that's the thing. We're getting more diligent, and shout out to the community for at least questioning it a lot faster than anybody questioned the Naruto thing. I mean, we talked about the Naruto thing on the show 5, 6, 7, 8 days after it was announced.
Yeah.
We didn't question it. We were like, yo, there's Naruto's NFTs coming and blah, blah, blah. And to look back, it's like, man, there's definitely like things we got to start being a little more diligent.
Can we talk about this too? Because part of this is like on Twitter as well. Like, why does this account have a blue check mark? And why is it available for yeah,
Crazy.
but yeah. So what? They bought an
crazy.
account that has a check mark and then they switched the name and the handle basically? Is that how that works?
Yes. That is how you get these NFT influencers. There's like a rash of NFT influencers who have like 50, 60, 80, 120,000 followers. They have these check marks.
No
Their
engagement.
Followers are bots. The check marks, no engagement. The check marks are bought, and then they literally just change the name. So in my opinion, what I think they should be doing on Twitter's side to prevent it is that when you authorize a check mark on an account, it's only for the name that it's registered under. And as soon as you change that name, you have to get a new check mark verified, because you keep. What's it matter if I buy TMNT, a verified account, but I can't change TMNT to Ronin, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. So it would quickly squash that, and it needs to happen because that's what's happening. There people are just. I mean, literally, somebody offered it to me for 4 ETH in my DMs just a couple days ago.
What do you think?
That's
The
what
Flubber?
we
scammers
should
are
do,
out
though,
there.
Is do some sort of verification. I mean, I've been working with security and governance for a long time, and that's like a very basic procedure they could set up. Oh, you're changing this? Oh, you were verified before? Oh, well, we're gonna have to check now, because that seems like a pretty serious scam. But I think it's cool that Recur was that quick to respond and get out ahead of it. I mean, also then prevents the rest of us from jumping in and losing more money.
Yeah, that's fair. When you were talking about veterans and losing money earlier, Flubber, I could feel you like staring at me, but I wasn't going to say anything. But we're going to talk about veterans and making some money here. I'm going to pull up Crypto Slam. I'm going to pull up CoinGecko. Basically, what we have across the market, guys, is a pretty good little bull market that we found ourselves in. And we've been in a bear, and I put bear in quotations. If you did your research and you found good projects, I'm sure you could have made a little bit of money. But overall, the space has seen... and maybe I can pull up Axie Infinity as an example here. The space saw quite a big dip over, I would say, the last 6 months. Let's zoom out to a year here. And we might be able to get a good looking chart as we see kind of the market come back, or Axie just not going to work for me, huh? Show me the money.
That's how much activity there is on CoinGecko right now.
Yeah.
Won't even load.
So if I go out to the yearly chart, you can see that we kind of peaked there like late November, at least for Axie Infinity. And for the better part of 2022, this is what the market has looked like for a lot of different projects. Star Atlas is a project I'm in, super down from the highs of like 28 cents. I think it's like trading at 4, and that goes for a lot of different projects. I'm not trying to call out the Star Atlas team. So I don't want to specifically talk on PFP projects at this point, as I pull up Crypto Slam as well and look at some of the data here over the past 7 days. But what do you guys make of like ERC20 tokens that you're looking at in projects in general? So maybe not like a PFP, but more of the kind of ERC20 piece.
I think all the layer 2s are about to blow up.
Oh, sorry, man.
Go ahead, Flubber. You're fine.
I was just saying I went to a blockchain conference here in Copenhagen, and Algorand came and spoke. And you know, at first I didn't know too much about them, but fascinating work. Also really cool to see their work with the public sector. You know, they're doing all sorts of stuff with the European blockchain. I don't know if you guys have heard about that IBSI, the European Blockchain Services Infrastructure. Super excited about that. You know, they're trying to create a layer for all of European blockchains, you know, to be built on. So you'll have your ID and all this stuff just on the blockchain, interoperable across all of Europe. Super stoked. And they're also working with, you know, the US about that, trying to make a good standard. It's pretty exciting. But there is one of the projects I've been looking out for, both because the technology seems super cool, but also, you know, the people behind the project are legit and super smart. Not that the other projects aren't or anything, but that's one that I've gotten insight into and thought, yeah, I'm gonna give them some of my money.
I think the whole space is kind of waiting for ETH to reduce gas fees, and I don't think gas reduction is coming on ETH anytime soon. And when they do pop out, they're going to be using layer 2 options and roll-ups and different options like that. So I've been looking at, you know, different layer 1s and a bunch of different layer 2s, because layer 2s are going to blow up real hard because people are expecting gas to go down when, you know, ETH 2.0, or, you know, they've rebranded it to ETH. So whenever that rolls out, you know, I don't think the gas reduction with it. I was just reading up on that the other day. And so I'd be buying into all your different layer 2s right now. So if, I mean, you're not in poly, probably get in some poly.
Yeah, layer 2s are a good call. I'm going to ask Ronan to kind of fill in here, but I'm going to pull up Crypto Slam as well and give us kind of a 7-day look. Obviously, you know, you see kind of the blue chips there. Azuki's doing super well over the last 7 days, but we see Bored Ape kind of down on the 7-day mark. If you zoom out to 30 days, a lot of it's just green, man. And it's good to see this in the space after kind of a 6-month lull. But Ronan, what NFT tokens or what fungible tokens in general are you looking at? And obviously none of this is investment advice.
Yeah, none. I don't play in that sandbox. You know that, man. I don't mess with coins. Like, I got ApeCoin. You want to know what coin I'm worried about? ApeCoin. And what am I doing with that? I'm gonna stake it when I'm able to. And until then, I'm, you know, having a healthy conversation about AIP 4 and 5. But like outside of that, like I'm just not like it. I got 3 kids. I got a family. I'm trying to like make sure I'm stable for the rest of like my life. I'm not trying to mess around.
So speaking, if you're gonna be stable, Ronan, you got to get your stable coins, man. The stable coins are the play. You got to have a stable.
I have
coin
my
yield.
stable coins.
Okay,
that's where I put the tax money every time I sell something. It's like, yo, stable coin. Throw it in a stable coin.
So let me throw this question out to all of you, because I think it's a cool conversation. Because Ronan said, "I'm just in apes." You have your ape coin. At this point, if you had to bet over the next year, what was going to 2x? Is it the ape, or is it the ape coin?
I mean, probably ape coin at this point, right? 2x on apes means it's at what, 200 ETH? Yeah. I mean, ape coin's gonna double way before it hits 200 ETH, I think. But who knows? Yeah, BAYC is king right now, so I mean, they could flip to 200 ETH at any point in time. So I haven't been doing really any coins since I got into NFTs.
So you can see a bunch of diamond hands here in the chat and here in this comment section who are not apparently getting into ERC20s. Although Flubber did drop, was it Algorand you said? Was that your choice, Flubber?
Yeah.
Love it, man. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. Go ahead.
I was gonna say let's run that for like the last 5 minutes. Let's run that link that I sent you. And let's all kind of like watch it. This is okay. So to put context on what we were given, this is Jiho at an NFT conference minutes after he found out that the Ronin blockchain had been hacked. Because the Ronin blockchain got hacked earlier today, which we did not have on our news to chat about, but we had some good topics I didn't want to. But yeah, Ronin got hacked. This is Jiho, like literally, apparently minutes afterwards, according to Chris in chat. So we can maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm not going to be able to play audio until I download the actual YouTube video here.
Link it real quick. Download it.
If we can have some filler. The one thing I will say, what's that? Go ahead.
Send it to me. I can play it with sound.
Can you share your screen?
Does your sound come through?
I mean, I would just set it as my camera and it would pop up. I mean, got that fancy vMix software over here. Hey.
All right, I'll send it to Savage right now, and let's see if it plays. God, I can't wait to watch this. In the meantime, Prodigy, can you drop another poll? Could you end that one poll, which 75% of you said that the video of my man and the proposal that I just from hell is real. So 75% of you think it's real. We're going to run another poll. What will be higher at the end of 2022? A Bored Ape Yacht Club, or like I don't know how do we put this, like 100K in
the NFT
Bored Ape.
or the token?
Yeah, the NFT.
The NFT or the token?
You guys know what I'm asking.
Which one's gonna 2x first?
There you go.
NFT or the token? There you go.
So I'm gonna start this. Let me know if you guys.
He hooked it up.
Yeah, let me know if you guys can't hear the sound. It should be working.
It works.
We realized that the Ronin network had been exploited for 173,000 ETH.
Is this now?
Yes, today.
And around $25 million in USDC.
173,600 ETH is roughly $590 million US. Yeah? That's a big number.
It is one of the bigger hacks in history. And yeah, we're fully committed to continue building. We're currently talking to law enforcement, working with the exchanges. The hacker has actually sent some tokens to exchanges, which means that there's a chance that they can be identified and brought to justice. So,
yeah, this is. I know there was a terrible this morning. It's important to understand that even a company as technologically sophisticated as Axie and is vulnerable. So knowing that this is one of the risks of being in the business, and while we could spend a half hour talking about how this happened, I'd really rather not. What I'd like to talk about
I bet.
The vision of all Engage to Earn is to let the users and the creators share in the value they create. It's a
Can we pause this as this guy tries to like
somehow
somehow segue the conversation into anything else? This is the second biggest hack of all time behind what looks like Polygon Network last year. I don't know what exactly happened on the Polygon chain, but 600 mil was last year, August timeframe. Holy shit! Like, what do we think? Good lord!
Wow, it's difficult.
That's a lot of money.
How the value of Axie will continue to rise after this. I mean, that hard hit.
I mean, if they sent it to an exchange, there's, like you said, probably a good chance they get it all back. But who knows? You can probably buy a KYC account somewhere else, but doesn't mean they're going to get those funds, though. Even if it's a fake account, they still might freeze those funds and get it all back. But that's a lot of money. And I can't believe it took us 5 days to find out. Like, we should have been hearing about this 5 days ago, I feel like.
But don't they tornado it out of? I mean, why would they? You know?
If you are smart, from me reading all the comments, I don't think they tornadoed it.
Some people don't. Some people do.
And
Wow.
even if you tornado it, if there's not enough liquidity, like even if you tornado it, there might be really easy to track. Like if you're sending a ton of money through there, and there's not a ton of money in the liquidity pool, whatever you pull back out is very easy to trace back to you. So just because you're using Tornado doesn't mean you're safe, guys. You let it sit there for like a month or something.
A couple different comments here in the chat. Digits is saying he's pretty calm, which I would agree with. I mean, this is one of the biggest hacks of all time, and he's up on stage. Like, I don't even know from a PR standpoint this was a good call for him being up there. Like, get your stuff together first before, unless this was planned. You said, did this happen 6 days ago?
Yeah, it was like. I don't know
when
when
on
the
the
actual
29th. It says. I don't know when the hack happened, but the video came out on the 29th.
Yeah, which was just today. So like, and
Today,
I
yeah.
just saw this morning the information like that it had been hacked. So I think that it's like all like, yeah, kind of like happening today. And I think he was just at a panel to discuss, you know, something else, and he found out a couple of minutes before. And like, they were like, okay, you know, like, what are you gonna do? You got to address it, like, and have a conversation like about it, at least, like, because people are gonna expect, you know. And then yeah, then you move on and you just say, hey, remember that Q&A that we were gonna do at the end? Let's not do the Q&A at the end.
Wow.
There you go.
You walk off and then you go and go into freak out mode, right? But at the same time, it's like, what does he have to freak out about? It's not gonna, like, I mean, it's company, like, it's company that he works for, that he's a part of, and obviously, like, you know, you're gonna have like concerns, but there's no reason. I am the type that's like, there's no reason to freak out until you really need to freak out, right? So to hold like composure and to have the conversation and move on and then go back and like figure out what the heck's going on, because I'm sure like now it's like, how did it happen? Like, how did they get access to that? Like, where was the vulnerability? Somebody said in chat there was a write-up. I'm definitely going to read that. I love reading write-ups of hacks, how they did it, how it came to fruition. Earlier yep. So on the 23rd is when they recognized it took place.
Okay, so he had time to prepare. Got it. That makes sense. All right, guys. I think
some insurance or something.
This comes from this is hot off the press. XPOW is saying he's found the hacker. We have the hacker right here. It looks like Kagi. So Kagi, you're not the hacker. We're just having a little fun. But yeah, they're, I guess Squabble has been well documented. So yeah, that would be funny if Kagi ended up being the masked hacker. But any last thoughts, guys? Go ahead.
Chris just clarified the hack took place 6 days ago, but there was no evidence that it took place until a whale tried to withdraw 5,000, and it failed because he couldn't because it was gone.
Oh
man, that's crazy. Great episode. I really had a good time hanging out with you guys. Flubber, Savage, thank you so much for joining us this week. I appreciate it. It was a good time.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Thanks a lot for having me. It was really nice to meet you all virtually, and thanks to the audience for you know, being here, and thanks to the LADZ City community for keeping all this content coming. This is awesome. And thanks to all the NFT folks. This is an awesome space we're in, and I think there's going to just be better and more things to come.
Go ahead, Savage.
Less hacks, hopefully. Less hacks on Discord, less hacks on the chain, on the blockchain. Like, hopefully all this money comes back into the space, because like you said, we're just getting out of this little, mini bear market or whatnot. So if there's that much ETH leaving our industry from a hack to some loser, I don't like that. I don't like, liquidity leaving our market. And if it's going to go anywhere, it should be going into one of the NFTs I own.
Ramses, thanks for dropping that take there. Digits also dropped a take here while we were live, so a lot of really good engagement here. We were able to have a better episode because of it. Flubber, you're welcome back anytime, man. That was a really cool episode, and for your first time on camera live, you did a fantastic job, man. If you are a noble in LADZ City, you have the ability to come on to NFT Live. You see the example here above, and we will be doing these each week, man. We'll see you guys back here on Friday. Thank you guys so much. This has been NFT Live. You want to take it out, Ronan?
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for engaging in chat. It really helped a lot today. We will see you next week. That's our vibe, our tribe.
Our vibe, our tribe.